is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
Big Ten champions. Big Ten champs.
National champions, yes.
Oklahoma City bound the Oregon Ducks.
Awesome day to be a Duck, man.
Boom inside. Touchdown Oregon. He gets loose. Fires. Hit. Pops the three. Oh, yeah. It's all Oregon.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider.
It's about how to be a group of people that know how to love each other to the absolute fullest.
Pleasure, joy to be with them each and every day. And I can't wait for the future.
It's just fun to be a part of a community that cares, that is passionate, and when we come together, powerful things can happen.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck athletics.
We are in the full swing of crossover season, coming off a great weekend. By my count, 9 Oregon athletic programs were in action over the weekend. 10 if you split up indoor track and field into both men and women. It was a packed weekend of Oregon athletics, and a pretty successful one at that. The Oregon men's basketball team got back into the win column at home, a victory against Penn State. We'll break that down here from Coach Dana Altman, as well as two of the star players in that matchup for the Ducks in their first win in about 6 weeks. Good to get back in the win column for Oregon men's basketball. Start to get that rhythm going once again. Oregon women's basketball, they battled against Washington. A strong defensive effort. Could have used a little bit more offensively on the road. Ducks fell just a bit short last night against Washington. Oregon baseball started their season and swept George Mason, a 4-game sweep over George Mason. That's where I was. That's where Joey was for most of the weekend. We'll have Waz and a few players breaking that game down for you as well. Oregon softball went through some adversity, battled through some changing of schedules down at the Bay. We're still able to win 3 of 4 games down in Northern California this weekend. Oregon lacrosse in action right now against San Diego State. They're at halftime, live time update. San Diego State up 6-5. They just got going for the third quarter down in Southern California. Oregon lacrosse, after already a win over the weekend, trying to get another one against the host school San Diego State. Also, men's golf in action earlier this morning. You had men's and women's tennis over the weekend. You had indoor track and field. I think that's everything. I'm not completely sure because so much was going on over the weekend. We'll break down as much as we can for you, and we're going to start with men's basketball because Oregon got the victory over Penn State, 83-72 at home in Matthew Knight Arena. A good, strong team win for Oregon men's basketball in a game that Nate Biddle scored 22 points. Takai Simpkins scored 22 points. You had Desrick Lindsay, who had 16 points. Facilitation, 5 assists for Biddle, 5 assists for Lindsay. They were spraying the ball around. Oregon shot the ball really well in this game, 52% from 3, 50% from the field. Oregon out-rebounded Penn State. Oregon got more turnovers than Penn State. The Ducks got much more bench production than Penn State. Oregon just played better basketball in this game. Got in the win column. Good to see the Ducks in the win column. Good to see Red Panda as the halftime show as well at Matthew Knight Arena. Really a true national treasure. If you don't know Red Panda, if you weren't there for Oregon men's basketball over the weekend, you should have been there. And also, Red Panda is a unicyclist who balances plates on her head while unicycling, and she'll like kick it up with her feet and it'll land and all. I'm so dumbfounded and flabbergasted at how any human can actually coordinate that much at one time. An incredible skill. It was fun to see at Matthew Knight Arena. I'm a little bit disappointed that I was over at PK Park. Didn't get to see it in person. Got to see some great videos of it, but not disappointed at PK Park because Oregon baseball, of course, off to a great start to the season. But Oregon men's basketball, 83-72, a win for the first time in a few weeks for Oregon men's basketball. Felt like they were building and building and building in the Purdue game. The Ducks got so close, and now the Ducks get over the hump with the victory over Penn State, hopefully starting some momentum down the home stretch of this season. Dana Altman, he spoke with the media after Oregon's 83-72 victory over the weekend.
There's been a lot that's been going on this season with the injuries, the streak. Does a win like today sort of feel like a weight lifted off your shoulders?
Oh, maybe not my shoulders. I mean, the guys were feeling it, you know. Been a long 6 weeks, you know, that's for sure. For them, you know, as much or more than our staff. You know, it's hard on guys. You know, their expectations were high, and you know, Nate, you know, he's not playing the way Nate's capable of, but he's pushing through with, you know, a couple ankles that are tender. You know, we don't have our quarterback, Jackson. You know, Dev was supposed to be our defensive stopper. Big E was just starting to play well, and he gets hurt. So, you know, the consistency that I keep harping for has been hard just because we haven't had a rotation. You know, guys don't know when they're going in. I don't know how many starting lineups we've had, but we've had a bunch. You know, we just we don't have what you should have in February. You know, a rotation, everything set in stone, getting ready to play your best basketball. We're way behind because of just inconsistent lineups, not knowing who's available, who's not available. But, you know, you go into the year, you know, you got Nate as your preseason all-conference. You know, you got Jackson as your preseason all-conference. KJ coming back. You feel really good about those three. TK. And then Dev was supposed to be our defensive stopper, you know, and he's been out a lot. And even when he's been in, he's been nursing a groin injury. So it just been tough on him. Injuries are tough. You know, it hurts the team, but guys want to play. You know, they want to play their best, and it's awfully difficult when you're banged up.
Well, Takai maybe talked about the importance of getting to the line for both of them, one 8 for 8, Nate 8 for 11. Just what were your thoughts on their ability to draw fouls and get in contact and get to the line and make their shots?
Well, both teams shot free throws really well. You know, they were 20 of 24. We had to match them, you know, 21 to 25. But no, it's we really shot them good. You know, that's important every game. But getting to the line, throwing it inside, I think most of Nate's, or all of Nate's free throws, we threw it inside. You know, you're not getting fouled shooting threes. You know, so he gets 11 free throws. You know, you look back, Purdue, I think he shot 14. I think he shot 13 at Indiana and 11 tonight. And like I said, all of them are not from shooting jumpers. You know, throwing the ball inside. He's got to get in there and wrestle around. And it's physically exhausting when you do that, when people are holding you and grabbing you. It wears on you. But that's, you know, gets him to the line, and that's where we got to have him.
We didn't play 16 minutes in the second half. Maybe part of it, as you mentioned, is like the rotation is running short. But what did he give you in his minute, and is there a particular reason why he played that much other than the first stretch? He played better.
You know, he turned it over there late at that particular time with their ball pressure. You know, Drew had a couple turnovers start second half, so I went with Way, and Way wasn't turning it over. And it's not rocket science. You know, we got to get shots. We had 4 turnovers, I think, in the first 4 minutes of the. You know, KJ had 2, Drew, TK, I can't remember, but we had 4 turnovers really quick, and you know, they got it back to tied or even there. You know, because of our turnovers. Again, when you shoot. You know, we shot 50% from the field, 51 from 3, and 84 from the line. But, you know, they got 7 more shots than we did because of our turnovers. We had 15 turnovers. They had 9. So there's 6 shots right there that, you know, some of our turnovers led to easy baskets, which is a double whammy. So, again, with the exception of the turnovers in the second half, 9 of them, and I think that's what it was, you know, I thought we did a lot of good things offensively. But to answer your question, Way got more time because until late there, he handled it pretty good and didn't turn it over.
And then a little bit follow up on that, like you mentioned, because the starting lineup was instantly injury. So a lot of the rotation guy, even new landings, they have to come up, and then they're playing the best in the conference. Is that like extra pressure to those guys, like younger players?
Oh, without a doubt. You know, there's pressure on the guys. You know, they know we're losing. Our expectations coming in the season were a lot higher than where we are now, which adds a lot more pressure to us. You know, we've had a decent run in the last few years, and you know, the expectations were to do the same thing this year, and it hasn't happened. So, yeah, the guys are feeling it, and you know, that's what I've said. You know, we're old, but those guys, it wears on them, you know, and like I said, it was a long 6 weeks for everybody. You know, we're not used to that, and so it was a long stretch.
This era, in this portal era, how hard when you're going through a stretch is it to just have guys keep like the day-to-day focus that you need to be able to compete and win when I think from like the outside perspective, it seems like if things go wrong, everyone can just decide to leave.
Yeah, you know, I guess it's like any relationship. You know, fortunately, I've been married for 42 years, and you know, my wife, you know, she's all in, I'm all in. You know, we go through the ups and downs. You know, when you got guys that are all in like Nathan, you know, he fought his tail off to get back. You know, he wasn't this was supposed to be his first game back, but he played last weekend because he was in the training room all the time wanting to come back. Well, that's a 5-year guy, you know, and so, you know, and our other guys are hurt. You know, I mean, it's not like they're not trying to come back. They are trying to come back. But when you got guys that, you know, they got 1 foot in, 1 foot out, it's tough. And I'm not saying I don't know if we got guys like that or not. You know, I'm worried about the next game. You know, if guys, you know, aren't all in at the end of the year, we'll know it, they'll know it, and they'll have to go a different direction. We'll have to go a different direction. You know, it's not the right way. You know, you're supposed to learn to fight adversity. That's one of the great things about college athletics is you learn how to fight adversity. When stuff doesn't go your way, you fight through it. And that's what I keep telling our team. You know, we're going to be judged on how we fight this. If we give in to it, you know, our former players are really going to be upset with us. You know, there's one thing about having a bad record. There's another thing about throwing in the towel. Well, those are two different dynamics, all right? That, you know, I've been disappointed. I was disappointed with the second half at Nebraska. I was disappointed with our rebounding at Washington, and I was disappointed with our defense against Indiana in the second half. Those 3 particular times, I've been very disappointed in our team. Other than that, I haven't done a good enough job. They haven't done a good job. We haven't done a good enough job to win games. But the only 3 times that I've been disappointed in them is the efforts in those 3 halves, basically. So, again, you're judged by how you handle adversity, and that's never going to change. Those guys need to learn that, because it doesn't matter if you're 18, 20, or if you're 40, or you're 60, or 67. You know, if you don't stand in there and handle adversity, you won't be a good husband. You won't be a good father. You know, your career won't be the same, because nobody's career goes like that. Nobody's family life goes like that. You know, so how do you respond when you're here? How do you handle that? And we're here. So, like I said, other than those 3 halves, I thought we've handled it. The guys have stayed together. They've practiced. They've tried to listen. They're trying to do what we want them to do. I get frustrated because, you know, we're not where we should be on February 14th, obviously. But I've got to take my share of responsibility for that. They got to take their share, and then we got to fight it through together. And Tuesday's another opportunity against Minnesota. So get to bed tonight, get to practice tomorrow, 1 o'clock. Let's get focused on Minnesota and go see what we can do. We can't change the past. All we can change is the next 6 games and hopefully the tournament. So again, that's a long answer to a relatively simple question. But that's what we're talking about with the team. You know, you got to learn to fight adversity. And, you know, sometimes guys might jump quicker than they used to, you know, because everything, you know, just so, you know, pay me this, pay me that, you know, and guys would, you know, fight through it, you know, and stay. So I don't know. It's just different. It's just different. And I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's right, but it is different. And, you know, we had guys, you know, 2014 who fought it, you know, 2015 who fought it. You know, Chris Boucher tears his ACL, you know, we fight it. And Folly Dante, you talk about a kid that fought adversity, 2 knee surgeries. Now he's got another torn ACL. He's fighting it again. But he learned how to fight adversity. And that's why he's in the pros. That's why Chris Boucher keeps hanging around, you know, because he fought adversity and fought through it. And that's a valuable lesson, you know, and it's one of the lessons over the years that I've seen a lot of guys really benefit from. And so I don't know if we're losing part of that. You know, that would be sad if we did. But there are a lot of, you know, guys that have transferred and done a great job, and so that's the positive of it. So a lot of positives, but there are a lot of negatives also.
That's Coach Altman talking about the win and the victory to battle through a little bit of adversity and earn a little bit forward. A victory over Penn State on Saturday. That interview by Coach Altman brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Better cancer care close to home. Taking a timeout when we come back. Nate Biddle, Takai Simpkins. They played really well over the weekend. Helped Oregon get that victory at Mathemat Arena. Getting to hear from a few star players that got it done on Saturday on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear Winter, Toyota's got 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action, and we'll bring the traction. Toyota, let's go places. Based on manufacturer's websites as of 10/20/25.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear Winter, Toyota's got 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action, and we'll bring the traction. Toyota, let's go places. Based on manufacturer's websites as of 10/20/25.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
This message is for Shauna, my mom, who just finished her high school diploma. I wanted to say I'm so proud of you for finishing school. You told me it's never too late to achieve your dreams. I hope to make you as proud as you have made me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Don't act like that. Don't wear that. Don't think that. I've heard everything you tell yourself every time you felt different. And I want you to know that you can be vulnerable and powerful. That taking care of your mind is taking care of everyone you love and who loves you. Love your mind. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
inside the Country Financial Studio. It's Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ryan Milano here with you on a Monday, a jam-packed Monday. 9 different athletic programs in action over the weekend, including Oregon men's basketball, who got a big victory over Penn State, 83-72. And they were helped out big time by Takai Simpkins and Nate Biddle. 22 points for each. Both made 8 free throws at the line. Simpkins knocked down 4 3-pointers. He had 5 rebounds and 2 assists. Biddle, he knocked down 2 3-pointers. He was 6 of 9 from the field. He had 7 rebounds and 5 assists. An overall game for both of those Oregon basketball athletes. Desrick Lindsay also scored 16 points. The 3 Ducks in double figures over the weekend. Simpkins and Biddle, they spoke with the media after Oregon's victory over Penn State.
Yeah, Nate, just relief from putting that losing streak to an end. How does it feel?
Yeah, it feels really good. I thought we were going to maybe get it done, last week against Purdue at their spot. But, I think that game kind of got us ready and, the defense that we need to play all the time. And, those last couple games led up to this. And, our guys keep showing up every day at practice, preparing for the next game. Nobody's quit, which is really good. And, I think this is a good start for us, get one under our belt and then, keep continuing to do what we did tonight. And, hopefully that gets us rolling into the, Big Ten tournament.
How do you guys' offensive numbers were near the top for the season? I guess for both of you, just what clicked offensively for team basketball for you guys?
I think just us moving the ball, sharing the ball today. We had, 18 total assists. I just felt like if we keep moving the ball, making plays, and trusting each other, everything's going to be good.
No, I agree. I think guys were making good plays, all around tonight, driving and kicking. Dez gave us a spark there off the bench. Jamari came in, hit a couple threes. Drew hit a 3, and, guys just coming off the bench, making plays for each other. And, I think that led, to us scoring off easy assists. We practice penetrate kick every day, and those were the shots that we hit.
Takai, you guys talk about shooting threes. You had a couple huge ones in the second half. This felt like the offense was really clicking, shooting from beyond the arc. What was working so well with finding those open threes?
Really just playing inside out. We know that we get it inside, then Nate, almost every night he going to get doubled. So we just got to find his eyes, relocate, and just be ready for the shot.
Just during this long losing stretch, how hard was it just to keep your head up and keep positive when, some tough losses, guys kept getting injured in and out of the lineup? It just, how difficult was it to stay positive during these last 6 weeks?
I mean, I feel like everybody was positive. Everybody stayed positive. I feel like that showed in the outcome today. We play basketball. Everybody here, if you playing the game of basketball at this level, you got to love it. So no matter the outcome of the game, you got to show up every day and do your job.
What was working in the second half for you?
He finally got to the line. He never shoots that. I think that might be the most free throws. He might have shot 8 free throws all season compared to tonight. He got to the line.
I was getting to the line a lot today. Just taking what the defense give me. Honestly, they wasn't putting their hand up. I'll shoot it. They get too close, I'll just go downhill.
Yeah, you mentioned the free throw line just now. How does it open up the game for you and also your teammates when you get to the line that much?
Yeah, I think getting to the line, it's something that we need to do better of. We've kind of struggled from the line this year, but tonight we were, 21, 25. We practice free throws every day, and, that just kind of, stops the game for a little bit, lets you catch your breath. Free points right there, but I think it all just came down to making plays tonight too. Just out of the double team, Takai would relocate, find my eyes. The cross court pass was open, and then once I made that a couple times, it left Sean under the rim for open dunk. Guys getting fouled coming out of that off rotations and stuff like that. So I think we just did a good job of attacking their closeouts and reading the defense and getting to that line.
Dana said, Nate, that you were supposed to be back this week, and he was commending you for your effort to get back last week. With the season how it's gone, the injuries and all of that, what motivated you to get back with how the season's gone?
Yeah, it's my last year. I put my last 5 years, into the University of Oregon. So, for me personally, it shows, for my family, my friends, cousins, everybody that comes up to these games and, the whole school, the coaching staff, everybody who supported me for 5 years, I think I just dedicate, these last games to them. Especially coming off injury, I want to be back out there, play with these guys, and I just love the University of Oregon. They've done so much for me and my family, So, you know, it means a lot for me to go out there and, you know, play these games, you know, even coming back off injury. And, you know, I'm happy we got the win tonight for sure.
Just kind of playing off that a little bit, like when you do only have like a finite amount of games left in your career, like how much does it mean to like have a game like this where it's just like most things went well and you get a win and there was a good crowd and like the energy was there as it's been at times throughout your career?
Yeah, you know, I think that kind of just goes with, you know, the guys making plays for each other, the stuff that happened tonight, you know, or this afternoon. You know, I hope that carries over, you know, to these next games. You know, my time in a Doug uniform is going to come to an end here, you know, after this year. But I just want to make the best of it with this team, you know, our coaching staff, you know, everybody that's been with me for, you know, the last 5 years, including, you know, the students, the fans, you know, my academic advisors, everybody, you know, for the whole school. So I just want to, you know, appreciate them and do it for them too.
That's cool to hear from an Oregon kid, Nate Biddle. After a victory, it hasn't been the senior season that Nate Biddle has wanted, certainly with some injuries he's battled through, the way the season has gone from a record standpoint. But to think in totality about how much Nate Biddle has given to the University of Oregon and how much the University of Oregon has, as he just said, given back to him, it's a relationship that's really cool to see and how his development has gone throughout the course of his career and how much the fans around the University of Oregon really mean to him. So continue to support Nate Biddle and this Oregon basketball team, starting to get on the right track with a victory on Saturday. Going to need some of that same momentum as Minnesota comes into town tomorrow for Oregon men's basketball. They will play at 7:30 tomorrow night at Matthew Knight Arena, trying to get back in the win column once again, start a little bit of a winning streak. Taking a timeout because it is Oregon women's basketball that played really strong defensively yesterday, but ultimately didn't get enough offensive production to result in a victory. Talking about Oregon women's basketball in a battle against the Huskies when we return on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
When life blindsides you with an injury, you need a team that's tough. For over 30 years, Morgan & Morgan has been fighting for the people. This season, we're proud to partner with Oregon Athletics. Because whether it's on the field or in the courtroom, we're both determined to do what it takes to win. Morgan & Morgan, proud partner of Oregon Athletics. Injured? Dial pound law. Morgan & Morgan, 10150 Southwest 6th Avenue, Portland. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Duck Insider continues from the Country Financial Studios in 1 minute on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
I'm a pretty great multitasker. I can wash dishes and do laundry. I can roller skate while walking my dog. I can even order lunch while doing my homework. But I can't use my phone while driving. A distracted driver is one of the leading causes of death in the United States. So when it comes to driving, please, don't be a multitasker.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
How serious is youth vaping? Irreversible lung damage serious. 1 in 10 kids vape serious, which warrants a serious conversation from a serious parental figure like yourself. Not the seriously know-it-all sports dad or the seriously smart podcaster. It requires a serious conversation that is best had by you. No, seriously, the best person to talk to your child about vaping is you. To start the conversation, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, it's Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Oregon Oregon women's basketball was in action yesterday against Washington, and it was a tight-fought performance. 51-43 the final. Washington ended up with the victory, but it was closer than that. And anybody who watched this game knows that this game came down to the wire. Washington got a big lead early in the first quarter. The Ducks just didn't come out and play very strong in the first quarter whatsoever. The Ducks were around 22-9 entering into the second quarter, but then the Ducks outscored Washington 19-5 going into the break. And then you got to the second half, and nobody could score whatsoever. These teams shot 31% for Oregon and 38% for Washington. The Ducks shot 10% from three. Washington shot 32% from three. Oregon and Washington, they combined for almost 40 turnovers in the entire game, and a lot of it wasn't from lackluster offense, but just strong defensive effort. And Oregon down the stretch of this game, their defense was stellar. As Kelly Graves is about to tell you, Oregon, I think they did defensively what they needed to do to win. It was a really strong defensive effort, but the Ducks just weren't making open shots. Oregon's offense felt like it was outplaying Washington's defense. Or rather, Oregon's defense felt like it was outplaying Washington's defense. The problem was that when Oregon got open shots offensively, they weren't finding the bottom of the net. It was a game that it kind of felt like, oh, Oregon, there's momentum in the Ducks' favor. They're playing like the better team, especially in the second half. And really, ever since the first quarter, it's like, yeah, the Ducks have all the momentum. The problem was that with 5 minutes left in the game, the Ducks got down by 2, and then neither teams could score a bucket until the final minute. Washington ultimately got that last bucket, some free throws, and everything that goes on at the end of a game kind of ballooned the lead for Washington up to an 8-point victory. But this was a tight-fought battle and an inspirational defensive effort, despite the fact that Oregon's offense, it did not perform the way that the Ducks needed to in order to win this game. Ultimately, 51-43 the final. A game that I think that Kelly Graves not too pleased about with his team, especially that offensive effort. Watching it, it looked like the defense was really stout. But you ask Coach Graves, Oregon should have won this game. He had the conversation with Chris Clayton postgame.
Did enough defensively in this game. What do you think was the shortcoming offensively?
Well, look at the shooting percentages. Jacobs goes 1 for 11. He's 2 for 9. Katie 2 for 13, and Sophia 1 for 6. You're not going to beat anybody. When you're shooting that way. And I thought we had some good looks. I thought we executed some really good looks to get the right people, the right shots, and they just didn't go in. I told the team today that I thought defensively this was one of our best efforts of the year. We defended well enough to win the game. And, but just the offense, it just wasn't there. And, I'm no quick mathematician, but that, those are 6 made field goals from 4 of our starters out of 20, 30, 39. 6 for 39. 6 for 39. I mean, we could shoot at half court, make 6 for 39, right, Chris? So I'm tongue-in-cheek, but listen, I was proud of the effort, number one. Really proud of the effort. Proud of the defense. Second half, we had 10 offensive rebounds. We challenged them at halftime. We had to give ourselves some other opportunities, and we did a good job. We turned them over. We did what we needed to do defensively and on the boards to win the game. But ultimately, we just couldn't find the basket.
And when you're getting decent looks and that you usually make, and they're just, it's kind of avalanche where shots are not falling, what's the message to try and boost people's confidence? What are you trying to say?
People's confidence boosts when the shot goes in. What am I? I'm playing them, right?
Yeah.
I'm playing them.
Yeah.
That means that I've got confidence in them.
Yep.
We run sets to get good looks at threes, and you saw some really well executed sets for open threes, and we didn't make them.
Yeah.
So I can be a cheerleader, but at the same time, that's BS if they're smart at all. Right. They realize, coach is just, trying to build me up.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to be real with them. Hey, we need you to show up on the big nights. Yeah. We don't care if you get 30 against, the school for the – well, I'm not even going to say there because there's way too many PC people listening to this. But, we need it in these kind of moments, and we just didn't do it tonight. So I sound animated. When I talked to the team, I was very positive. We've got to build on that. I'm assuming that, we're not going to go 6 for 39 again. But my goodness sakes. Yeah, and hats off to Washington. There was a time when I thought both teams wanted to lose. I mean, neither team was really playing that well, executing turnovers, bad decisions, lackluster offensive. This game set the game of women's basketball back about 20 years. I mean, we didn't even get to 100 points. I mean, seriously.
Well, you look forward now to Nebraska. What's going to be the focus this week and trying to move on and put this one behind you?
Well, that's what you have to do. You have to move on. I mean, we can watch film and talk and show how well we executed it. But, we'll take the day off tomorrow. We'll have 2 days to prep for Nebraska. I think they play Iowa tomorrow. And then, we're getting to a point where we've got to get some wins here. Right? Now, we weren't supposed to win this game, right? This would have been a bonus. It would have been a quad 1 win. But, I think going in, most people figured, hey, it's going to be a tough game. But we had a chance. And, now I think the schedule is, down the stretch, these last 4 games, we've got to take care of business. I mean, that's the position we put ourselves in.
It starts Thursday, 6 p.m. against Nebraska. Thanks, Coach.
All right, bud.
Thanks for your time.
Yep.
I think a disappointed Kelly Graves in the postgame after Oregon women's basketball unable to execute the way that they needed to in order to get what could have been a big victory over a ranked Washington team, a quad 1 victory, as you heard Coach Graves say. Now Oregon women's basketball getting ready for Thursday at Matthew Knight Arena against Nebraska when the Ducks are back in action trying to get some wins going as we are down the stretch run of the season. Just 4 games left in the regular season for Oregon women's basketball. Ducks, they are right now in the field pretty comfortably, but you do have to take care of business over the next 4 games if you want to maintain that status as a comfortable tournament team before the Big Ten tournament ultimately starts for Oregon women's basketball. Talking about the end of the basketball seasons and the beginning of the Diamond Sports season. Oregon baseball at PK Park swept George Mason 4-0 to start the season. Post-game reactions from Waz and some players getting some pretty pleased results over the weekend. Complete victories at PK Park. Talking about them when we return on Duck Inside on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial.
Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
More Duck Insider from the Country Financial Studios after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
the Country Financial Studio. It's Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ryan Milano here with you. After I was at PK Park all weekend, a 4-game set against George Mason. Oregon won every one of them. 6-2, 14-4, 14-5, and 11-1. The scores for Oregon. 11-1, the final score on Sunday. The Ducks jumped out to a 9-0 victory through the first 2 innings and cruised home to a series sweep from there. If you didn't listen to me and Joey on the radio, if you weren't at PK Park, you should have been, but here's the cliff notes of what you missed. Starting pitching was really good. Really good. I think that the 4 starting pitchers combined to give up 8 base runners and just 2 runs the entire weekend. That's really good. So a lot of really good outings out of the bullpen. If you do not know the 2 new freshmen in the offense for this Oregon team, Angel Laya and Braden Jacksa, they had tremendous opening weekends. Each of them hit a home run. Laya hit 2. Jacksa was an inch away from joining him with 2 of his own, and he did clear the fence on 1. Both of those freshmen, really strong start, and a lot of the returners, Ryan Cooney, Dominic Hellman, Maddox Maloney, and then a few of the newcomers who, well, guys that were on the team last year but are stepping into starting roles, Jax Jimenez, Jack Brooks, they also had really good opening weekends. That's the cliff notes of what happened over the weekend if you didn't listen to us or come to PK Park to watch Oregon baseball this weekend. Dominant fashion. I think all 3 phases. Waz would probably tell you. Oregon played strong defense. The Ducks battled at the plate. Every single one in the lineup was a tough out over the weekend. The Ducks pitched pretty darn well. An 11-1 victory on a Sunday, completing a series sweep. The reactions from head coach Mark Wasikowski.
So, series win secured. Got the sweep. Any instant thoughts, takeaways from that?
Ryan Featherston, I thought he pitched really well. I thought it was a solid defensive effort. I thought the guys played really well in the field and, got off to an early lead, helped us secure the sweep. But, really good pitching by Featherston and a couple of bullpen guys. It was great to see Devin Bell out there. He pitched really well. And clutch hit by Jack Brooks, really good defense by the guys. So happy to come out, on top 4 times this weekend. It was good.
Last year, you guys didn't get Toby Twist until way later into the season, and now you have him right off the bat. How was that?
Really good. There's obviously a lot of talent on the mound that we have, and some of those guys got pitched today, which is good. To have those guys rolling out on Game 4 is really a lot of fun. When you're able to pitch well enough and play well enough to where those guys are out there in the 4th game of the series is a good feeling.
What do you think you learned the most about your club from the way they played this weekend?
Don't know. Have to look back on that. Not really there right now.
Jack Brooks, that was just consistent at all four games, just producing. How is it to kind of have an unlikely source? Maybe not an unlikely source, but
well, new, right? He's a veteran guy. He's been around the program. He's just been behind some people that have been really good players. Last year he was behind the guy who led the country in home runs, and Jack is a really good player, and we see it every single day when we're in practice. And we knew what kind of a player he was last year, even though he didn't play a whole lot. We knew that he could be an elite player for us this year, and he's starting to show that a little bit. So it's really nice for him to. He's an explosive player. He does a lot of good things.
Don Hellman hit a couple of just singles today, just uncharacteristic of him, and not huge home runs. What does that say about him as a player?
Well, he can really hit, and he even said, if they're going to play me in that shift, I'm just going to take my single. And which is amazing because it's not a slow pitch softball game. It's not that easy when you're facing 90-mile-an-hour fastballs to be able to play baseballs as you choose to do. He's got really talented bat-to-ball skills, and he's not just a big guy swinging hard. He's got more to him than that.
Does that show his improvement? Because it feels like he wasn't really doing that two years ago.
Well, we haven't seen him healthy for a full year, and so if we can keep him healthy for a full year, maybe I think we would have seen that a couple of years ago. But yes, I do. I do think that it shows improvement and just maturity.
He's a really mentally savvy hitter at the plate. Just hearing him talk about his approach and things of that nature. Yeah. I'm curious, how have you seen that kind of develop over his time here?
He cares a lot, right? He cares a lot. He works really hard, and he's. That's one thing. Maybe you asked the question that says, "What do you learn about your club?" I knew they care a lot about each other, but I guess I learned even more that how much they care about the little things like you're referring to with Dom's just development of his hitting. he does. He's a cerebral guy that really likes to, when a lot of times you see a big guy and you think, oh boy, he's probably not very cerebral or something, and that's so false with Dom. I mean, he's a smart kid. He's got a lot of depth to him.
We saw Tyler over the past 3 games jump out there and play some third for you. What have you liked about him? What made you guys bring him in?
Just trying to get him in the game. He's another really good player. He's played really well in our scrimmages. He hit really well in our scrimmages. We didn't get him at the plate a lot this weekend, but tried to get him in as much as we could.
Is it frustrating at all that Sliker has been up there twice and just got plunked twice?
No, it's great. He's on base. That's the goal, right? Get on base, and he had 2 tries and 2 for 2.
Devin Bell looks pretty serious out of the pen. What'd you make of his outing, and what have you seen from him in kind of the ramp up to this year?
Yeah, he's dominant. He got a chance to be really good.
Angel is young in his college career. Yeah. What are your thoughts on his performance this weekend?
Well, I can only reflect on, I even shared this with Angel. My first college weekends when I was a freshman, I think I went 0 for my first 3 weekends. And yet he looks like he's a senior or junior in college, just up there hitting, and it's really neat, to see him and Braden Jackson have the success that they had this weekend. It's not a surprise. They're both really talented and skilled players, and they're a lot of fun to be around. When you get to know those 2 guys, they're kind of soft spoken a little bit, but they've got a great sense of humor too.
Jax looks like a real spark plug bat for you guys up there at the top of the lineup. I'm curious, what'd you make of his weekend and kind of his first real run of at-bats for this program? Yeah, first real run. In games, he'd done the same stuff in scrimmages. He's a really physical player. I mean, he's not a little kid. When we signed him, he was probably 5'8" and 160 pounds. And he's probably 6'2.5", 205, 210, maybe even selling him short there, and he can really run. I mean, he's a big guy. He looks like a football player. And he just, I don't know, his mental makeup is really, really good. You saw him make that play in right center field today. Made it look pretty easy, and that usually is a double or a triple. You've had a lot of freshman recruits come in, especially middle infield guys, that you've found ways to get them in the lineup, found positions for them. I'm curious, how's the recruiting side of that gone, identifying talent of that nature, especially when, they all perform kind of similarly for you guys up there?
I mean, we work really hard at recruiting. Sometimes you don't get all the guys that you want. Sometimes you can't keep some of the guys that you want. There was a young man from Iowa that we really wanted to come to school, and he ended up signing pro late last year, and that kind of broke our hearts a little bit. And he's a great kid, and he's going to have a tremendous pro career. But, you don't get them all. But when you do get a chance to be around those type of players that are just super elite, I mean, it's just a bonus, right? It makes you look smarter.
You dropped a couple games early last season. How does it feel to put 4 wins on the board in the opening weekend?
Yeah, it feels really good. I don't even remember last season right now. After 4 games, and happy we're 4-0. We had 4 chances to play, and we won them all. So good stuff.
Do you have anything on Youngstown State right now, or is that for next few days?
Well, we start Thursday, single games, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 4-game set. I know in their first 2 games of their series versus Auburn this last weekend, they lost 2 really tight games in the first 2 games of their weekend series. We've already watched those. Then one got away from them in game 3, but they had 2 tremendous pitching performances. They lost the second game on a wild pitch. Just a wild pitch, and it was a walk-off wild pitch where Auburn beat them in that. First game was a tight one as well. So they had a couple of arms really throw well, and we've already watched those games, but we'll have to prepare more to know how they did today. I'm not sure exactly how they did today.
Ryan Cooney's been starting on your middle infield since he was a freshman here. I remember his opening day games here. I'm curious, what's it been like, into that kid grow up and really become the leadoff guy for you guys this year and really, develop?
Yeah, he did it again today too, right? With the clutch single up the middle. I mean, he's been probably our most clutch player. He leads off because he's pretty well the captain, and he runs the deal. His makeup his intangibles are elite. Tremendous student. I mean, he's just a well-rounded human being, and he's a hell of a baseball player. If he was playing shortstop, nobody would even notice the difference. That's how good he is. I mean, Maddox Maloney's a great player, and yet Ryan can play shortstop right alongside of him just as well. That's how good he is. And it's, just watching him and seeing his growth and development through Coach Martyr and Coach Grant and those guys has really been cool.
Is there anyone in the program, in the past that, he reminds you of kind of from that mental makeup perspective?
Not here, but he reminds me of Mark Ellis, a kid I coached at the University of Florida.
Man, it's It's good to be back. Oregon baseball, it's so fun this time of year, especially for me, to be around the team. I can go to scrimmages and practice and see, what the team is looking like from how they play each other. But you really don't know until you see them play somebody else. And now we are in baseball season. It's getting into full swing. 4-game set coming up this weekend. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 3 o'clock games on Thursday and Friday. Noon games on Saturday and Sunday against Youngstown State. And as you heard Waz say, Youngstown State, a very difficult team to beat. Top 10 Auburn team had to beat them 2-1 and was taken to extra innings in one of those victories. They're a tough team. Oregon's going to have their hands full against Youngstown State this weekend. Excited to get back at PK Park this weekend. Excited to see some more from Jack Brooks. We'll get to hear from Oregon's junior center fielder, who is a difference maker. Waz called him explosive, electric. I don't know what else to describe him as. He's a good ball player. We're getting to hear from him when we return on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
We know you turn to the Duck Store for all your game day needs, and for students at the University of Oregon, it's even more. Class supplies, jobs, a seat on our board, a place to take a quick coffee break. Because we're your student-first, non-profit college store, every purchase you make directly supports the very community we serve. From working at our counters to studying in the classroom, from directing our stores to cheering in the stands, the people we serve, the students, are the very people who are the Duck Store.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
In sitcoms, when someone has a problem, they just blurt it out and move on.
Well, I lost my job and my parakeet is missing. How was your day?
But the real world is different. Managing life's challenges can be overwhelming. So, what do? We get support. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have mental health resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. See how much further you can go when you take care of your mental health.
Snakes, zombies, sharks, heights, speaking in public. The list of fears is endless. But while you're clutching your blanket in the dark, wondering if that sound in the hall was actually a footstep, the real danger is in your hand, when you're behind the wheel. And while you might think a great white shark is scary, what's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
We are back at the Country Financial Studio. It's a Monday, bringing on so much that happened in Oregon athletics over the weekend, including Oregon baseball and their 4-game sweep over George Mason, a big impact player from a few seasons with the program, sitting on the bench. Now he's a starter, and he's making plays. In the outfield, his speed is a difference maker. He had a few diving catches over the weekends, ran down a few balls. He put down a few great sacrifice bunts, and he also can hit for a little bit of pop, alley to alley. He had a triple. Not often you get a triple at PK Park. A triple on a Sunday for Jack Brooks at the bottom of the order. He produced over the weekend. Getting to know a little bit more about Oregon's longtime veteran, but first-time starter, Jack Brooks.
3 years ago, when you started your career here, I remember you getting, defensive replacement at bats as a second baseman, and now you're starting in center field. What's kind of that transition been like for you over the past couple of years?
It's been great. It's been a little bit of ups and downs. Wasn't really playing that much I would say my sophomore year, and then going to the outfield, I think it's just a good place for me to be. I can use my abilities, which I just run pretty fast, so I'm out there. I'm just having fun. It's good being out there.
Did you play outfield at all growing up, or?
Here and there, like a little bit. If my dad would put me out there in Little League, or if I could go out there, I would. But other than that, it was just basically infield.
What's the biggest, transitional piece of it that, someone's got to learn coming off the infield dirt and, playing center?
Yeah, I think it's just being able to communicate with the guys around you because, everyone can hit here. And then that's just kind of understanding what your role is out there, like how to communicate with, the other guys that are out there. And then just getting good reads off the bat, good first steps, what we do every single day in batting practice. So it's just kind of doing the little things right.
Came in a bit of a difficult recruiting class to get in on the middle infield with Ryan and Maddox coming in. I'm curious, and then sitting behind Mason last year. I'm curious. You spent a lot of time kind of away from the spotlight. What's it been like, getting that everyday role now, but having been here as long as you have?
Yeah, it's been a good learning piece. Just kind of learning from guys that are really good at baseball, and it's got to give them praise for what they deserve because Maddox and Cooney they're legit, and then Mason DeVille last year was really good. So it's those guys, it's just good to learn from those guys. And now that I'm coming into my own and just kind of hopefully keep it going, but playing just good baseball. So it's fun.
Yeah. When you're triple, you were flying around second. Is it more fun to hit triples than a home run, even though home run is the big one? I
like to run, so I think it's good for me. So if I can keep it in the park, it's good. If it goes out, it's even better. But if I can run, I'm happy with it.
When's the last time you got clocked on a 60?
That'd have to be junior year of high school. Yeah.
What do you think you're running right now?
I'm hoping sub 6'7". Okay. Sub 6'7".
Trying to get out there on punt return for football, or?
I could pull a bencher, but don't know if my size is up for it.
For sure.
Jack Brooks had a strong weekend for Oregon baseball in their opening series over the weekend. Another Diamond Sports News, Oregon softball, they were down in the Bay, a 4-game tournament down with some extenuating circumstances. We'll hear from Coach Lombardi coming up here tomorrow. A 3-1 weekend, 2 wins over Cal State Fullerton, and a win over Kentucky, a run rule victory over an SEC team in Kentucky, but a 5-4 loss against Stanford, and one that Oregon probably is looking to have back. The Ducks had a lot of offensive opportunities to break this game open, just couldn't quite capitalize. Oregon track and field was also in action over the weekend, and the Ducks were at 3 different meets and had a few different school records. Emma Nielsen was a record holder now in the women's mile as she put in a lifetime best 4:21.04 in the women's invitational mile at the BU Valentine Invitational. Kobe Lawrence at 20 meters and 16 centimeters set the shot put world record in Lubbock, Texas. Indiana Cheritich broke her own school record in the 5K of 15:13. Lacrosse in action right now against San Diego State. They just went final with a 12-10 victory. A 2-0 weekend for Oregon lacrosse. Tennis got wins on both men's and women's side. Men's golf in action. Joey's got you tomorrow.
My name is Ariel. I moved to the U.S. at 19. I spoke no English and I struggled finding job opportunities. Everything I have, I owe to the Adult Literacy Center and getting my high school diploma at age 22.
It was an honor helping you achieve your greatness. Now you're helping others achieve theirs. It inspires me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Find free and supportive adult education centers near you at